If the idea of prioritizing your well-being sounds like a luxury, keep watching this episode. One time this lady who lived on the top floor of this house, her roof was leaking and the water was dripping onto her ceiling. So she went into the loft and she put a tray there to catch the water drops. And it was a very precarious situation because you can't put it flat on the floor because it's got these wooden runners. So she thought to herself, well, she'll come and empty it out so that nothing happens. As the weeks went by, it continued to rain, sheets and sheets of rain for days and days, and she could hear that dripping noise. And she'd think to herself, I should go and empty that tray. But then she didn't have time. I can't afford to, so she'd just carry on with her day. And then as the weeks went by, that dripping eventually turned into background noise. She didn't really hear it, but occasionally she'd think, I ought to go and tend to that. One night, 2 a.m, she heard this loud ripping noise. And she got up and she went to the kitchen and she could see the ceiling.
What the hell?
That water tray eventually tipped over and it flooded the floor, which was her ceiling. And then she had to spend weeks and weeks and a whole bunch of money she couldn't afford to spend at the time to get the place repaired. See, at the time she felt she couldn't afford those 5 minutes to go up into the attic and empty the tray. What she really couldn't afford was the time and money it cost to repair the damage. That tray filling up with water is like your mind during stressful situations. If you don't regularly empty out those thoughts, it'll eventually tip over, create damage that costs you weeks of time off sick. There is a heavy cost of chronic stress. Studies have shown that stress can weaken the immune system, it can spike blood pressure and strain the heart. Stressful events here and there aren't the things that worry scientists too much. Things like preparing for an exam or preparing to give a talk or meeting the in-laws. See, what happens to the body during stressful moments, it goes into code red mode. Shut down all creativity and problem solving. Go. Shut down all digestion and vital repairs. Go. Go. Increase heart rate and blood pressure. Go. You tighten all muscles and prepare for attack mode. Go. Code red. And when the stressful event passes, the body returns back to normal. Code red mode was designed for temporary events. So back when we were hunter-gatherers on the wilderness, it was designed for those moments when you'd meet a saber-toothed tiger or a rattlesnake, or we'd run out of food, something like that. Code red mode to get us into action. When those events passed, the body returns back to normal. But it's a prolonged state of code red that's harmful for the body, which eventually buckles under the pressure. And the next thing you know, you've been written off for weeks or months, and it can cause long-term irreparable damage. The good news is, studies at the US Army Research Lab have shown that there are practices that can reduce stress, that gives you space to stop the onslaught of psychological stress, of deadlines, to-do lists, targets, inbox. It's essentially giving you tools to empty out that tray to prevent any major damage. Now, to help you prioritize your well-being, I recommend starting with 5 minutes. That's all. Start with 5 minutes a day. The key is you want to turn it into a habit. something that you feel uncomfortable if you don't do it, like brushing your teeth. How often do you leave the house without brushing your teeth? I'm really hoping you say never, otherwise I'm not sure we can carry on being friends. So to make something a habit, you've got to start small and make it easy, which is why I recommend 5 minutes. The key is to focus on the actual practice of doing it as opposed to any end result. And here's the thing, if you start with 5 minutes, you'll feel the benefits afterwards and you're more likely to stretch it to 10 minutes. We do have the time, it's a case of wanting to do it. Here are 4 well-being practices you can do every day that takes less than 5 minutes, and you'll feel the difference afterwards. The first is exercise, doing some sort of stretching or go for a quick walk or even a 5-minute jog just around the block. You'll start feeling good after 5 minutes. The chances are you may even double it to 10 minutes, but start fit with 5 and be okay with 5 because that's fine. And exercise works because once you do the exercise, it releases natural feel-good chemicals. 2, spend 5 minutes focusing on what you are grateful for. Now you can do this either first thing in the morning or last thing at night. You choose whatever works for you. One of my clients, she decided to use that moment to spend with her son as she was putting her son to bed. After reading to him, they would say, okay, let's count 5 things we are grateful for from our day. And it became a lovely game. So that's what she did. Train your brain to notice the good by spending 5 minutes on focusing what you are grateful for. The third practice is to focus on your breathing. You can do this anywhere. You choose what time of day is best for you. I personally prefer first thing in the morning. The fourth practice is an extension of the one before. It's to punctuate your day with mindful moments. Now what that means is throughout your day, maybe you're sitting on the bus or you're sitting on the train. Usually people use that time to look at their phone. Instead, use that time to just be present where you are. Below in the notes, there is a link to another episode which gives you more detail about this practice, how you can use your day-to-day surroundings. Doing so is like pressing pause on those stressful thoughts that causes you stress. When you prioritize your well-being with a 5-minute daily practice, it won't magically complete your to-do list, meet your target, magically make your kids clean up their room, though that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? But what it will do is give you space to empty out those thoughts, causing you stress. And when you're no longer in that stressful code red mode, you feel better. You then have access to your brain's creative faculties. So then you can think of clever ways to lessen your workload. Thanks for watching Coffee and Wisdom. I'm Anise Kizilbash and I will see you in another episode.